Welcome again to another edition of Make It Fair. My name is Harmon Dash, along with our colleague Tracy Bender and our founder, Dr. Stuart Phillips, always shining a light on how money has been destructive force on our democracy, especially in how money gets us fighting against each other in a very partisan way. But now we're currently looking at a situation where an overwhelming number of Americans agree it really doesn't matter what your ideological bent is. We've been in Afghanistan for 20 years through 4 administrations, and now we are finally taking ourselves out of that country. And it's been met with a lot of chaos. And, you know, there's plenty of finger pointing to go around, but we think at Make It Fair, we should celebrate something that over 80% of Americans actually agree on. I mean, you can't get that many people to agree that the sky is blue in this country, but more than 80% of Americans agree that we should have been out of Afghanistan a long time ago. And that no matter when we actually pulled the trigger to get out of there, it was going to be complicated. It was going to be messy. And, you know, we can celebrate the fact that we agree on the exit. Whether or not we agree on how it was executed or who made which mistakes, we all generally agree that we needed to get out of that country. Correct, Tracy?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, I know that I'm always the one here to bring the pessimism. And, you know, we're all going, oh, well, President Trump did this, and President Biden is doing this, and Obama did that, and, you know, we're trillions of dollars in. So, you know, there are lots of things that we could criticize, but it always brings me back to a successful family, a successful organization, and a successful business. If all you do is focus on criticism, it's going to destroy the family, it's going to destroy the organization, it's going to destroy the business, and as we're seeing, it's destroying our country. Mm-hmm.
Well, here we have something that we generally agree on across the board. What do you make of that, Dr. Phillips?
I think it's important for us to understand that we can finally agree on something and that we should accentuate the positive. We have enough to disagree on. When we find something that we agree on, we should celebrate it. And then we should study it and see how we got into the problem and if we can figure out a way not to do it again. Make It Fair's whole premise is that if we get money out of politics, we'll make better decisions. People that make decisions based on the best available data be better for the general public than people make decisions based on who gave them the most money. I have many friends, arch conservatives, arch liberals, and everybody in between. I have never heard anyone disagree with that. Everyone thinks we should get money out of politics, and we want to know, they just want to know how. Make It Fair has been working to do this for a long time, but here we have a time when everyone agrees that our old method was wrong and then we need a new method. So let's celebrate that. And then next week we can get back to partisan bickering. I'm sure it won't take too long.
And I would argue that the partisan bickering is funded. You know, the moneyed interests like it when we're so focused on our partisan bickering, because then they just get to keep stealing the money. So it you know, and they keep getting to bribe politicians, legal bribery or not, it's still bribery.
Well, yeah, I mean, we know that elections are now won overwhelmingly by the candidate who raises the most money, and that means that they're beholden to the moneyed interests. And, you know, even now, while most Americans are agreeing on this issue that we needed to get out of Afghanistan, we're seeing all that finger pointing so that people can start to get into their camps and say, you know, the reason this was all this all went wrong was because this guy did this or that guy. I mean, there is plenty of blame to go around, and the moneyed interests would rather us pointing fingers at each other instead of celebrating where we agree so that they can continue to control the narrative.
Yeah, Tracy is going.
And there's 20 years of blame.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I would recommend everybody do, just to remind yourselves, because it's been 20 years and trillions of dollars, I recommend that this is a super quick, easy read. It's just a high level overview. But it reminds us that there has just been error after error after error. And it was a quagmire that, we dug ourselves in, and there was never going to be a winning solution. It's impossible. It was just an impossibility. So,
And I'd like to put in a plug for let's all try and support the people in Afghanistan. They have to make up their mind how they want to live. We are not going to make up their mind for them. As long as they won't hurt us, we should support them. And if we make that a guiding principle, we'll be much better neighbors to everyone in the world.
And from a humanitarian perspective, if somebody doesn't want to live under their particular
regime,
let them out.
Well, the United States is a nation of people who didn't want to live under a particular regime. And we've got great people here. And the last ones that came were the Vietnamese, right?
Right.
And I know, at least in New Orleans, we all have Vietnamese friends. And we all like Vietnamese food. And I know that because I'm old enough to remember when they first started coming here, that there was the same sort of thing that they were going to ruin the world. And I don't think anyone can say that now. Our Vietnamese population is not very big, but it's very strong. And it's really been a plus for New Orleans in every kind of way. We have doctors and lawyers and especially fine restaurateurs.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Afghan food, but I mean, we may be finding out. Who knows?
Another beautiful culture added to our mix.
Absolutely.
Well, so let's just take a moment again to congratulate the majority of Americans, over 80%. We agree that we cannot nation build. We have to let Afghanistan do its thing. And we support the people of Afghanistan in trying to make those decisions. And we agree across ideological boundaries here in the United States that this was the right thing to do, even if it's messy. And we also just want to remind you that letting money determine our politics will keep us fighting with one another. We at Make It Fair want to highlight that every single chance we get. And we want to make sure that you understand that we agree more than they want us to think. And that we are a nation, a diverse nation, and we can come together. And this is just one great example of that. Please go to our website, makeitfair.us, to check out more on how you can be part of this discussion. You can also join our Facebook page. And let's all come together where we can, and then we can do the analysis to decide how we can do it better moving forward.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for being here. Any closing thoughts, Dr. Phillips?
Thank you for listening, everybody. And if you like this, share it. The way to win is to get as many people on our side as possible.
Absolutely.
For Tracy Bender and Dr. Stuart Phillips, I'm Harmon Dash. We thank you for watching Make It Fair.